Hi, hello, homosexuals. Happy Pride Month. My name is Jer, and today we are going to be talking about one of the most important and pivotal moments in the queer rights liberation movement, and that is the Stonewall Uprising. And contrary to popular belief, nobody died at Stonewall, but a lot happened. And if you want a more comprehensive story of what happened on that day and that time, check out my podcast. The links are below. Our story takes us back to 1969, where homosexual acts were illegal in pretty much every single state, except, oddly, Illinois. And at this time, both bars and restaurants could get shut down simply for serving gay patrons, but more importantly, for hiring gay employees. The Stonewall Inn, which was located in Greenwich Village, and I'm so sorry to New Yorkers if I butchered that, was a really well-known gay bar. And police raids were quite common at that time for making arrests, as well as confiscating alcohol being sold on the premises. Police kept raiding this bar, hoping that they could finally nail that last nail in the coffin to shut it down for good. So we're in June 27th, and it is an unreasonably warm Friday night. The Stonewall Inn is packed to the brim with patrons, and plainclothes officers start to make arrests in the bar, specifically for cross-dressers, or as they were called at the time, masqueraders. Which, by the way, gay people, can we please reclaim masquerading for drag? Like, it sounds so much more fabulous to say that you're masquerading than to say you're in drag. The arrests continued to happen through the evening, and police started to rough up an AFAB person who some people believe was a lesbian rights activist. And the NYPD, being the way that they were, people were justifiably tired of the treatment. They started yelling pigs and copper. They started to take pennies out of their wallet and threw them at the police. That escalated to bottles and other garbage, anything they could find that they could throw at the police to fight back. Some people even slashed the tires of the police cars there. And in that moment, the queer revolution was sparked. While there wasn't a ton of coverage in the events of that night, what we do know is that the protesters were the victors. The police fled to the inside of the Stonewall Inn and barricaded themselves inside, while queer people outside used a parking meter as a battering ram to get in the inn, fighting back at the police, throwing everything they could at them to chase them out of their safe space. It's now somewhere around 4 in the morning, and the crowd is starting to die down, the uprising is starting to slow down, and thankfully no one has been killed or seriously injured, with the exception of the police. And to that, I have a very tiny violin to play for them. And like we always do, queer people rise up, and the very next day, the Stonewall Inn opened business as usual. There was no alcohol served that night, however, and plenty of people appeared in support, shouting, "Gay power," and "We will overcome." In the following nights, gay activism began to spark around the city, and that momentum continued to gain speed through the next year, until June 28th of 1970, where the very first Pride Parade took off from the Stonewall Inn. This one event sparked a flame that ignited around the entire world, igniting pride events across all countries and all borders. All because a group of people decided that they were tired of their mistreatment and demanded that they be allowed to have their spaces. The Stonewall Uprising is a monumental event that reminds us as queer people that we cannot be complacent where we are now. We cannot allow our rights to just be stripped from us. And so in this year of our pride, don't be afraid to use your voice. And in the words of Harvey Milk, we will not win our rights by quietly staying in our closets. And that is the abridged story of the Stonewall Uprising. Happy Pride! I hope you learned something today. Go out and use your voice. Use your power. Don't be complacent. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye!